He got game and bad as hell. The black chain got swag for sale because he got game. Don't try to front. You do what you can, we do what we want. That's why he got game. Go ask your homie, young baby like a fashion show. I ain't have to stunt, but yeah, I have to glow. That's how you know. That's how you know. That's how you know that. That's to the haters how I kick it off. My niggas ripping.
What's going on, world? It's your boy VO the Face Bucket List back in the building, man. We here to wrap up this 2021 season, man. It came quickly. We already approaching this 2022 draft. Just remember, when it's you against a sports book, the Bucket List got your back. I'm here with two of my co-hosts today, and we ready to get it popping. Cody, why you sitting up so much? You want to be acknowledged right now. I like it. You working on your posture. Oh, man. That's what's all the way down the camera. All right, man. Without further ado, let me introduce these two gentlemen I'm here with today. And I got Jay Reeves, the gambler.
Yo, let's go.
Let's go, man. Actually, let's wrap it up. It's the end
Let's
of the
wrap
season.
it up.
And I'm here with Silly C with the numbers.
Haha, yeah, it's your boy.
It's your boy. See, I say it's your bow because we about to put a whole ribbon on this whole season, and we about to wrap this shit up. It was a gift, man. We're going to talk about the 2021 season, but where should we start? The same place we ended. That was with the Milwaukee Bucks becoming the 2021 champions of the world. If I don't really have like a clap or whatever, but wow. I mean, I'm not super excited, but I was excited to see a Western Conference team not take it home. So I have no problem. And Giannis, I'm happy for Giannis. Initial thoughts on the Bucks championship run, Jay Reeves.
Let's first off, I started by saying you called that one. You definitely called that one. Once we got late into the bracket, you definitely picked that one out. I didn't see it coming, man, but I do recall saying at the beginning of the whole playoff stretch, like, the Bucks have been knocking on the door for a while, and they finally kicked it down, man. And congratulations to those boys. I didn't think they were going to get it done. I thought Phoenix had all the tools in the toolkit to get the job done, but they did not. And the Bucks got a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of Bucks.
Yeah, man. Chris Paul came up a little Chris Small in the biggest moments again. Silly C, what's your initial reaction on the Bucks 2021 championship?
Well, let's first start it off by saying, I feel like Phoenix, was dipped in some sucker sauce, the type they put on spaghetti. What happened is they had a complete collapse. They had the chance to take the cup, and it didn't happen. But what the problem was is they ran into Giannis. Giannis is just a different person. He's an animal. Literally was putting up, averaging damn near 45 points a game with like 17 rebounds. That's just monster style. And he really didn't even need the rest of his team to be too participating in this win. That's just what's just so crazy about it, especially against such a team like Phoenix was.
Yeah, I mean, Giannis will probably get his flowers a little bit later in some of these segments. But Jay Reeves, what do you think about some of the other Bucks that were huge contributors on this Milwaukee playoff run?
Man, there's like so many to talk about. It's like a lot of Bucks stepped up in key moments. You had the boy Drew Holiday out there dropping dimes, scoring points, locking dudes down. Chris Cash Money Middleton just showing up and just cashing in all kinds of checks for you alongside Giannis. But the boy I want to give it up to is somebody who y'all talked about, who I thought one of y'all said was going to be the key factor, and that was you, Matt. Actually, that was the boy Pat Connaughton. Man. He really stepped up as far as the last game. That boy scored like 0 points in the last game, but outside of that, man, he was having some awesome nights, and he was like a key contributor to what the Bucks did this year.
Man, and Cody, man, like there was a failure to launch, and the sun definitely set on them. But let's talk about the failure to launch with the Houston Rockets and that boy PJ Tucker. I sent you guys that meme over that he beat the entire 2018 Houston Rockets staff to get
Crazy.
there. Cody, what was PJ Tucker's impact on this series? Just to refresh your memory, he did beat Chris Paul in the finals with the Suns, James Harden with the Brooklyn Nets, Capella with the Hawks, and Trevor Ariza with the Heat. He was able to knock them all. What was PJ Tucker's impact on this series, and what do you think it meant to the Bucks in their championship run?
I think it was huge. His veteran leadership and just his ability to be able to step up at pace and play with some of these like better people. I think that that's just amazing in his case. Like they were lucky to get him, but he gave them that dog effort that they needed from a veteran, and was willing actually to participate and share with the other people, and not be the standout person to mess up the chemistry. So I think he was a perfect selection for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it was a good trade deadline pickup. It was one that was less noticed. Actually, he was like a buyout player, huh? A little bit after the trade deadline, but Houston was super taken. But I mean, hopefully, good luck to Houston. They got him a new four and Christian Wood that looks to be promising, and hopefully it works out for them. But for this year, it worked out for PJ Tucker, and he got the
PJ Sniper. PJ
huh?
Sniper, that man,
PJ
it was like a kind of like an old school mob movie where they like messed over his family, but they're trying to mess over like his NBA career, and he just came back and sniped all those boys off.
Yeah, and he hit him. He hit him quick, man, and that's how you got to do it, man. When you're moving around like a killer, you got to hit him quick, and that's probably his legacy on that. But the bigger takeaway from this is what were the legacy impacts that it had on people like the Greek Freak. Let's start there. Silly C, what was the biggest impact to the Greek Freak's legacy with winning it with Milwaukee?
He was able to do it without teaming up with a super team.
Mm.
And it shows
Yes.
that, yeah, you can team up, but you still have that probability of injuries, and you have a lot less people that could get injured when you have a big, salary cap based on a couple of people. So they showed that they can have that depth and people like Pat Connaughton that can come in and help. Whereas you look at some of these teams like the Lakers, they really don't have much of any bench or anything to really come in. So once the two people went down, that whole team went down. And that's part of the problem.
Yeah, some of these teams are just a little too top heavy. It did look like Bucks had the depth to get it done, but this ain't about the depth. We gave a whole segment to them. Let's give Giannis his flowers. Jay Reeves, what do you think this victory in this championship says for Giannis's legacy in the NBA?
Oh man, it says a lot. I was scrolling past something already, and they were saying, has Giannis taken the reins as the best player in the NBA from LeBron James? And I would have to say yes. LeBron's kind of wearing down a little bit older. He's about to wrap it up pretty soon once he plays a year with his son. Giannis really stepped up in these finals, in these playoffs, man. If you guys recall, the Bucks came back in 3 straight series. That's like something that I want to say has never been done before. And I mean, like that man Giannis was really dominant throughout this playoff stretch and in the finals.
Yeah, the Bucks and Giannis looked a lot like Floyd Mayweather when it came to their series. Like they would fill them out the first couple rounds or games, and like sometimes they'd lose the first couple, maybe even allow a big hit like the Bucks did a couple times, but then they would like just get used to it. And they ended a lot of these series quick, even though
Yeah.
they did end up falling behind. They were able to come back and end them quick outside of the 7-game series with Brooklyn, but KD was just a size 13 too far, yeah, he was just a little too big on that. Cody, did you have something to say before I moved on?
Yeah, it's just the fact that Giannis literally hyperextended his knee and came back the very next game, which people already thought was very questionable of a decision, especially with that type of injury. Came back and literally led his team. That was just crazy impressive, just on his end.
a gutsy final performance, man. And, one person that they might consider had a gutless finals performance. And I got to grab my charger. That was all that computer noise. But I'm going to ask you a question, Jay Reese, and then grab my charger. Freaking Jay Reese, what does this have? What impact does this have on Chris Paul's legacy? When he went up 2-0, they were talking about, oh, he might be the greatest ever. Like, don't sleep on him. Like, move him all the way up to number 2 over Steph and everybody. What impact did this have on CP3's legacy with losing this series?
Oh man, I caught something that you said earlier, man. CP too small, and he showed up real small in the finals, man. Like, that shoulder was probably laboring him. I don't know, man. He looked a little exhausted. Everybody was saying that the man was wearing down. He is a little bit older. That really crushed his legacy, not winning a title, man. And with that being said, he probably has to go and get it done with the super team now. They're already talking about moving him to the Lakers. So, I don't know, man. It's not looking good for his legacy because it's kind of looking like he can't get it done.
Man, so you're saying that he should think about movement to the Lakers, but is he moved all the way out of the top 5 now? Because when he made it to this Western Conference, I believe he was edging out top 5 point guards like Jason Kidd and Gary Payton, people that don't have a championship. So he kind of needed this to seal this. Cody, did he not do enough to like hold those guys off, those legends off, like the Stocktons, the Jason Kidds, the Gary Paytons of the world?
Yeah, unfortunately, no. And it's sad. I really was expecting him to be able to pull it out. But if you look at this now, I mean, Damian Lillard's looking to join up with the team, and teams are only going to be better. Brooklyn's going to be crazy next year. So just to think that he would even have a chance to try to stay in Phoenix, he doesn't. So his only chance at a championship, I feel now, especially at his age, is he's got to join up with a super team, and that's his only option.
Yeah, man. Well, you kind of beat me to the punch, man. It was talking about how crazy Brooklyn was going to be for next year. Let's go ahead and spin it forward, man. Like, what does the impact this has on the 2022 season? Now, the draft is this week. I think that boy Jalen Suggs and Cade Cunningham and a bunch of other guys are about to join the league, so it's going to get a little bit more interesting. But we don't expect their teams that they get drafted to have an immediate impact. But let's spin it forward, man. Favorites for next year's championship. I'll read off some odds, and then we can kind of just review them. They have Brooklyn at plus 200, the Lakers at plus 600, the Bucks for repeat champions at plus 850. They have the Phoenix Suns, the Western Conference champions, going at plus 1200. Then they have the LA Clippers plus 1300. Golden State Warriors plus 1300 and Utah Jazz plus 1300, and then right behind them the Philadelphia 76ers at plus 1600, and then I gotta throw my guys in there plus 2400, the Denver Nuggets falling in. What do you guys think about some of those odds? I can give you guys some more long shots in a second, but what do you guys think about some of those odds, and what's your impression with what Vegas is saying? Silly C?
Yeah, so right now, I think Brooklyn is really looking good to win the championship, especially unless the Lakers can get another powerhouse over there. They don't have enough, I feel like, durability throughout the whole season to keep that going. But that's the odds today. That's not the odds after Damian Lillard makes his decision. So I think that will be really key on what team will have a chance next year. And shoot, right now I'm hearing a lot of New York being a team for Lillard. And if that's a team for Lillard, let me tell you right now, New York comes into play.
Yeah, New York doesn't even pop up in the screenshot that we have, so that's a super long shot. And we'll get into players' futures later, but let's talk about these odds, Jay Reeves. Anything stand out about what I read to you? Or, do you think the safe money's with Brooklyn? That's what you said at the beginning of this playoffs, and, you got Milwaukee bucked, so is there that happens this year? Or what do you think, man? We're just projecting out.
Well, here's the thing with these numbers, man. You kind of want to get ahead of the number because right now, at this point in time, is where you're going to find some of the best value. With that being said, man, I really like the Lakers at plus 600. I would throw a half a unit on that, a half a unit on the Bucks plus 850 to win it again. I would take a dart throw with Golden State Warriors at plus 1,300 because you never know what they're going to do there as far as the draft goes and Klay Thompson coming back, the boy Steph Delicious. All depends on if they keep Andrew Wiggins or bring in somebody else. I'm not going to say Dame Lillard because he's not mentioned there.
It might be Dame Lillard. It's been messy. It might be Dame Lillard.
But my best bet on this board would probably be to put a whole unit down on the Brooklyn Nets at plus 200, man. I just feel like they have to get it done. They're going to stay healthy next year. They're going to try to rip some teams' heads off, and I really think that they're going to win the title next year.
Yeah, well, the Portland Trailblazers are currently at plus 6,000, so Vegas isn't believing them, even though they're ahead of the aforementioned New York Knicks that they were talking about. Here's a little bit later, longer shots. They got the Celtics at plus 4,200, the Heat at plus 3,500, who have been looking at Brandon Ingram, I guess that came out today per Woj. They have the Atlanta Hawks in here plus 3,500, who looked really good this year, and then plus 3,000 the Dallas Mavericks, who have been rumored in some Kawhi stuff. Do you guys like any long shot money on them or any of those teams you feel comfortable with?
I like to say no. Unfortunately, just how unpredictable the Clippers are and how many games they're actually going to play and how Kawhi's health will be next year. I mean, we didn't even know if he was supposed to be coming back like in game 2 of the series and never showed back up. So with that being said, Clippers are out. And then with the other teams, like, I don't know. Right now, I don't really believe in any of those teams. So I probably have to pass on all of them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you the one team that I do believe.
I've been asking a ton of questions, and I want to kind of give a little take on this one. I do like what Miami brings to the table, just as like a location, a destination to play. I've heard a lot of people rumored to them, including with the Woj bomb drop today, that Brandon Ingram's interested in going out there if he's on the market. We've seen movement recently with Valanciunas leaving the Grizzlies for Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams. I know you guys seen that. So there's already movement going on. Next season's being formulated. I do like long money on Miami, and I do think the Hawks are only going to get better in a Eastern Conference that's iffy to say the least, especially with them like, I don't know, we'll see what happens with Kyle Lowry and a lot of these other and Ben Simmons, who knows what the 76ers do. So we talking about early money. I like Miami Heat because they have a core and they might be able to do some additions. Jay Reeves, what were you going to say before I interrupted you?
Nah, man, I was trying to get on before you because I knew you was going to talk about them Atlanta Hawks, man. They was doing the dirty bird all over fools, all over my money. I don't know, man. I think they got a lot of good pieces there, man. And I can really see them back, at least possibly playing in the Eastern Conference Finals again, man. They really came together this season, man. They may be knocking on the door as well.
Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks were a surprise team this year, and that wasn't the only surprise because another huge surprise is the MVP of this past season was Denver Nuggets' own Nikola Jokic. Let's talk about future MVPs for next year, people that kind of showed their ass and they might be ready to take that step. I don't actually have numbers on that. I don't know if Vegas has released them or if just the app I look at hasn't released them, but do you guys have any dark horses or favorites in your head? Jay Reeves, we'll start with you. MVP candidates for next year?
Oh, man. I want to say, man, if things could just come all the way together with more assists and more rebounds, Chris Paul out of the way, I think my boy D-Book, man, I think he got a pretty good shot because we all know the scoring's there. He ain't going to stop shooting. We all know the scoring's there, but if he could take over and be a leader of his team and get his team back, at least into the Western Conference Finals, you may be looking at an MVP right there.
Man, that's a bold statement. I like that because that one's grimy. You didn't like throw a Luka or somebody at me. That was grimy. Cody, what do you got? What do you think about like dark horse or maybe just the leader in the clubhouse for this upcoming season?
So I know he didn't, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Dantes, he actually has put up crazy numbers. He's 22 years old, and he's only going to get better. He's literally putting up 27, 8, and 8 average throughout his career. That is almost a triple double. That's very impressive. And right now, his 3-point shot, do you see him in the Olympics, is only getting better, and he's going to be dangerous.
He dropped
So,
48 on the other night with Slovenia, man.
I'm telling you,
He out there. He out there.
right now, he looks very dangerous. Now, I only say him because I'm not going to pick Embiid right at the moment, just because of health. If he can stay healthy throughout one season, I definitely think Embiid is definitely in lines
But
for
he
it.
can't do it.
But so far, he hasn't been able to do it. But his stats, literally 28 points, 10 rebounds, and he's averaging about 5, 6 assists. That's crazy because he's got a really high upside, especially when it comes to what he does. So those are the two I'd look out for.
Yeah, man. Jay Reeves referenced his Olympic play, and that like Americans look like they're in trouble, and not only just with the Olympics, but like with this MVP future voting, I see like the top four probably being non-Americans. I'd like to say that Jokic is going to be in the conversation, Doncic is going to be in the conversation, Joel Embiid, and the
Yeah.
Greek Freak, like you know what I'm saying. So where is the first American blood MVP gonna come? Is it gonna be James Harden? Is it going to be Kevin Durant? Is it gonna be LeBron James? Might it be Steph Curry? Jay Reeves, it's Olympics. You feeling patriotic? Where's our MVP gonna come from that bleeds the red, white, and blue?
Oh
And then I'll give
man.
you some numbers.
I mean, like, I would have to go with the obvious and Kevin Durant. But no, hold on, man. Let me change that. The boy.
This is a tough
Wait,
one.
wait a second.
I
Wait a
hit y'all
second.
with this
No,
one.
no,
Yeah,
hold
that
on,
was
hold on.
good. I'm cold.
The
I'm
boy,
good at what I
Steph-alicious.
do.
The boy Steph-alicious, man. When he take Golden State back, and they have one of them killer Golden State seasons like of late, which I think could possibly happen this year when all the pieces come back together. They may go on a run, man, and Steph may be the MVP. Oh man, light skins win again.
Damn you! Damn
Damn
you!
you!
Yeah, man, you might
So
be right, but his points, I think he led the league this year. Don't misquote me, did he? I think Steph led the league this year in scoring, but his points are going to take a step back next year with the return of Clay, and who knows what moving pieces they'll have. But I do believe you'll see an uptick in those assists because he won't have to score as much, and he's down to play his role. Cody, who's going to give us some patriotic pride, and who can we look for to top this international MVP debacle?
yeah, so not only I don't really know in U.S. It's kind of hard to see. LeBron's falling off. Anthony Davis isn't gonna have enough, because they just don't share enough for him to be MVP considerate. Um, I don't see Kawhi, Paul George. I don't see a lot of the people in the West even having a chance. Um, and then when you look at some of these numbers, because I pulled up some DraftKings numbers, they currently have Luka Doncic number one at plus 400 to be MVP of the season. Then they have Giannis at plus 800. Then Jokic at plus 1,500. Might want to jump in on that because he's already done it once.
Yeah,
Zion Williamson, which I think is very interesting and
yeah,
good,
that's
good
interesting.
sleeper, plus 4,000. Right now, he might be somebody you want to just jump in, just put some on just for maybe a sleeper pick because, again, he is Zion.
Yeah, and for those of you who think that Valanciunas is going to eat into Zion's production, he's not. Valanciunas is a 20 rebound a night type person. Zion doesn't rebound. Zion doesn't rim protect. Valanciunas and Zion's going to be amazing to watch next year. And I'd suggest a handcuff in every fantasy league that you get. Zion's an interesting question. And, sometimes these questions just come from the most random of sound bites or whatnot, but I was able to pick that out of y'all's conversation. We dove into the MVPs and can the Bucks repeat? We talked about the 2022 favorites for a chip. And, we went through everything on my list. And that was just us knocking all this shit out, trying to get this going, us going against my list. But when it's you against the sports book, the bucket list got you back, baby.
Yes, sir.
No. I'm going to drop the tagline, but we're going to keep it pushing. We're going to do free agent destinations for next year. I apologize. And here we go. We're going to talk about...
Are we talking about the biggest bust, too?
Yeah. Well, we won't even dive into the bust, but we'll talk about the people that we missed that in the wrap-up of last year. I kept pushing past that, and we went to this year, and next year. But since we're talking about the future, maybe y'all can help me with the future of a couple of these players. So we got two people that are on a player option. So give me your opinion from inside of each of these players' head. Cody, you're Kawhi Leonard. You got a player option. Do you stay or do you go?
Right now, I think he's probably going to stay. Really, there's probably no team that wants him. And if a team's going to pay the price that he's going to have to be paid, they're going to need the kind of, production that I don't think he can provide now. So I think I'd definitely pass on him.
Yeah, I mean, not even pass on him. It would be, would you stay in LA? Let's ask this question to Jay Reese. Jay Reese, you're Chris Paul. He has a player option. You just made it to the NBA Finals. You fell short against a beast of a team. Do you stay in Phoenix or do you go banana boat in LA? Man, I'd love to see the banana boat together out there in LA. I'd love to see Melo, LeBron, and Chris Paul all together. But I'd still be rooting for the Nuggets in our situation. But I'd love to see that come to fruition. Jay Reese, if you're Chris Paul, you got to make a question. Banana boat, Phoenix Suns, what you doing?
Well, here's the thing here, man. He had the opportunity to put it on his back and get it done by himself with his team. Because let's just face it, the Phoenix Suns, that was his team this year.
Yeah.
I say all that to say this, man. He probably going to have to go banana boat it up, man, because he has shown that he cannot do it by himself. So if you really want a ring, if that's what you want, that's really what you want for the end of your career, for your legacy, then you may have to super team it up, get on that boat.
Yeah, you heard the knock that it became in his legacy for not getting that championship earlier, and I'm sure the people will hold it against him when it's all said and done. Since we did mention Carmelo Anthony, he's an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Carmelo Anthony, do you see a good fit for him, Jay Reese? I got a bunch of players, so you could kind of just throw out some ideas. Or anything you like to see?
I kind of felt like he was a real good fit in Portland, man. I thought they were going to make something work out there, but I think he's a little bit past his time, man. I would just wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it was any type of storybook I was writing, I'd like to see Carmelo in Denver as a wing player that we could use, or Carmelo back in New York as a wing player that they could use with Derrick Rose. It could just be the 2001 All-Star team all over again. Cody, Mike Conley is an unrestricted free agent. Should he stay in Utah or should he go?
Right now, I think he should stay in Utah. Utah's balling. They have such good chemistry together. I definitely do think they'll probably need a little bit more help, but yeah, he definitely should stay. And then back to the other one, the reason why I said pass on Kawhi is because there's not nobody who's going to want to take that piece. So even if he wanted to go somewhere, I don't think nobody wants to take him in.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, he doesn't really have all these next upcoming players are all unrestricted free agent. So you guys can kind of let me know what situation you'd like to see him go into. And then, yeah, like you said, he should probably stay, which means he might have to take a pay cut to stay. Cody, Jay Reese, do you think Kyle Lowry should take a pay cut to stay in Toronto, or what would be the best situation for him? Fat knee Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, man, I'm not a real huge fan of Fat Knee. And I feel like he's washed too. You asked me about a whole bunch of washed ass players. I wish you can give me some younger dudes so I can have something to build off of. I guess
All
once
right, I'll
again,
skip that one, man. Fat Knee, man. I think Fat Knee sounds like the perfect person for the Lakers because, like, they do be having those ambitious offseason. Oh, we're gonna get Dame Lillard, we're gonna get Steph Curry, and then it's like, we got Fat Knee.
he
Kyle.
go. Hey, he
You
go
know what
join
I'm
the
saying?
Globetrotters.
Hey,
He,
yeah, but he's just kind of the side chick though. But
Where's Eminem gonna go? Is
we'll go
James
into the
Harden
next
gonna step
person.
up next year?
We'll go into the next person. This is a two guard, which a lot of teams can use. I'll let anybody jump in on this. DeMar DeRozan, unrestricted free agent. What should he be looking for this offseason?
God, he needs to be looking for
He
God.
needs to look for God. And and I
I
might
don't know.
agree.
DeMar DeRozan, like he's just not really that spectacular to me. When he
oh
was
man, I think
in
DeMar DeRozan is great, man. He's a scorer, man.
but
What are you talking
when he was in Toronto, he was not enough to push them over the edge. They traded him for Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard took him to a championship and won one.
Don't
So
mention
I
DeMar
don't think
DeRozan in the
with
same.
the same cast. So with that being said, DeMar DeRozan is just a half-height person when you compare him even to Kawhi Leonard. So I'll pass.
Yeah,
What do
I
you think
see.
about what do you think about him teaming up with Dallas, man? What do you think about that? A little bit
I
more
think.
scoring power.
I
I
think that's
think
just
that.
going to take too much away because he's not really he doesn't share the ball. He demands too much of it. And right now, with their playing style and having Doncic be the shooter, I think he's just going to take away from that team.
Yeah, I mean DeMar DeRozan, he's a good two guard, and he'll step in for any team that needs it. I know Dallas is in between them with Tim Hardaway Jr. looking for a big contract. I mean DeMar might be good in that Dallas situation. I also like him in possibly like Philadelphia or over there with a scrappy team like the Hawks. Like I think him and Bogdanovich will be able to share that role like really well, and I could see him
Philly
making
and
a
the
play
Hawks, those
like that.
both sound pretty good.
Yeah, I like to come with, my shit normally be pretty tasty. We'll go into this next one. Otto Porter Jr., is he hot enough? Do you want to take on him? No?
Yep.
Victor Oladipo, is that hot enough? That's pretty spicy right there. Where should Victor Oladipo go? We were talking about teams that need two guards.
I like Oladipo, but
No. Jay Reese, he ain't saying nothing. Well, come on. He just making that face. Come on, man.
Because it's like I just keep getting tossed the
You
bums.
just
Like
good.
where should he go?
This is the
He should go.
lower.
He should go to a rehabilitation center
All right. Well, then
and
how
get
about
his body
somebody that's
get his
kind of
body
hot
right.
right now? How about somebody like Evan Fournier? He put up buckets against the USA. Where should he
Stop.
go? Okay. Goran Dragic, Dennis Schroeder. These are all really important teams that could put the right team over the shit.
I like
Justice
Schroeder a
Winslow.
lot. I think Schroeder can get somebody over the top, man. I think he definitely is going to be one to look at.
And he was ass with the Lakers.
That's
Yeah.
because it's the Lakers, man. Them fools is trash. They don't be trying to let people play. It's LeBron
But
and
even
Anthony
when he had playing time, Cody, even when he had playing time and they needed him to step up specifically, he was terrible.
He
All right.
single-handedly
Well,
helped them
hey,
win
let
some
me let
games
me
after LeBron went down.
let me group these guys together. What veteran point guard would you like to bring for your team if you're a team with a point guard need? Dennis Schroeder, Goran Dragic, or Patty Mills, or Spencer Dinwiddie, who said he's looking for $25 million
That's the
a
one.
year today. Which one would you
That's
go?
the one.
He said he's looking for $25 million a year.
I need a discount, but Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie.
Yeah,
All right.
I need a discount too, but I would really enjoy that dude on the Bulls.
All right.
That'd be a nice little addition right there. Spencer
All right, you're a team that needs some outside shooting. Where do you go? Do you go with Danny Green this offseason or JJ Redick?
Neither one of those guys. I need to get younger.
I like JJ Redick a lot. He's not one that demands anything, and he'll literally just come in and shoot. That boy got that shot. I like JJ Redick a lot.
Nah.
Yeah, well, what team do you got, or Jay Reeves, what player do you like from my team the best? The Denver Nuggets, man. I was looking at some wing players, and I'm really liking Otto Porter Jr. or Norman Powell. I really like Norman Powell's game. I think he would be really good because he plays the 3 and the 2. Better wing player from my Denver Nuggets. You think it'd be like Norman Powell or Otto Porter?
Norman Powell is a real solid player, and he has been for a couple years now. That boy, he's still pretty young, and I just feel like he could take some teams over the top. Now, that's a spicy name that I would like to talk about. Norman
I
Powell.
seen he was exercising his player option, so he's now an unrestricted free agent. And man, I was like, "Oh, Nuggets, go,
He
go!"
could get
Like,
he could get the job. He could get the job done. And I'm like, some people will have to answer to y'all in the West with a Norman Powell trade. Especially if you keep all the core pieces, man. I really like just saying it on the Denver Nuggets. MPJ, man. It's just like, man, come on, man. Just give me all of you, man.
yeah,
He just needs to step up and
it's the third year. Yeah, it's the third year. He's going to make a leap. Cody, I asked Jay Reeves about our team. Can I ask you about Jay Reeves' team? What does Zach LaVine and Nikolai Vucevic need for the Chicago Bulls to become players next year? Free
DeMar
agent
DeRozan.
wise.
DeMar DeRozan.
I like that.
No,
I like that. I like that.
no. I think
DeMar DeRozan.
they need a point. They need somebody to handle the point. Levine, I think, needs to go back over to shooting guard because he is a beast. And when he handles the point, I think he just gets a little too shot happy. But if they move him to number 2 and bring in someone like a Lillard, I think in that case they would then become dogs over there.
Yeah, well, you keep saying the same name. You keep saying Lillard, man. Like, what are the options like for the Bulls, man? They need some good wing players, and we've talked about them: Carmelo Anthony, Norman Powell.
I
Uh,
think it's some of the players you just mentioned. Schroeder would be a good pickup for him. I think any of those wing players, someone that can actually give them a shot and maybe control the ball. I think the ball needs to be taken out of Levine's hands because I feel like at times he gets a little tired. So with him having to run so much through him, I think it's a lot better to have him just be more of a scorer than versus the actual producer. So I think they need somebody that can handle the point, handle the ball.
all right, man. Well, Jay Reeves, freaking, I do have one more. If this will pop back up, you could just tell me if some of these niggas got to wrap it up. Like if it's just time to wrap it up. Andre Iguodala is a free agent this year. Wrap it
Hey, yo,
up.
B, wrap it up.
All right, man. James Johnson, who's a physical player, is it time for him to wrap it up?
James Johnson. It's not ringing a bell. Who does he play for?
The Pelicans. He's the MMA fighter. They brought him in as some muscle. He used
Ain't
to be
that
with
dude
the
still pretty
Heat.
young?
He's like 30 something, man. I don't know. But Justice Winslow. Justice Winslow. He suffered from injury his whole career. Is it time for him to wrap it up?
Get him out of here.
Oh man, who else? Dante Exum. He might give people some minutes.
I like Dante.
Yeah, I kind of like Dante. I do like Dante.
Derrick Rose is an unrestricted free agent. I don't think he should hang it up. But who do you see D Rose going to?
I would really like him to come to the Nuggets. I don't know why, but I would like him to come and get some kind of spot.
We need a point guard depth.
We need somebody to help back up. Yeah, you see, Monte Morris just wasn't enough. We need somebody to help if Murray goes down again, and I think Rose would be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Avery Bradley, wrap it up.
Where has he been?
I don't know. I like him too, but I think it's time for him to wrap it up.
He wrapped himself up.
Yeah. Oh shit, man. Yeah, I haven't seen some of these guys. Yeah, all right, man. Well, that's pretty good, man. I think we got some good content for the people. And just to let you know, we have a new home, much like some of these free agents we're talking about. You can find us now on Fuzz Sports on YouTube. Just Google Fuzz Sports and look up the bucket list. Because remember, once you against the sportsbook, the bucket list got your back. But find us with the F4 football, man. We about to start streaming that, and you can find that at the same place. Deuces. Happy
Boom!
2021. Boom.